Carl Jrei.
Yes.
Yes, because I can't pronounce your last name, but
That's
we'll
all
put it
good.
in the credits and people can figure out how to spell
Absolutely.
it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, welcome to the Rice Pudding Project.
Thank you.
So I know little bit about you. I know you're into music.
Yeah.
And you're into A&R.
Yes.
I don't really know what A&R is, but I think it's someone who finds talent and nurtures
It's one
talent.
aspect of it.
Okay, can you explain to me and the audience at home what it is you do?
Absolutely. So one aspect of my work is, and I'll go through the background a little bit later of how I got there, is A&R, which stands for Artist and Repertoire.
Okay.
Now, these are two very distinct functions of the A&R. From an artist's perspective, you have talent scouting. It's, finding out who the upcoming talent is, seeing the potential in certain people. And this is, especially in the region, something that really excited me about the role.
And do you do a specific genre or everything?
So I started off initially as hip-hop.
Okay.
I started off back in the day as hip-hop.
West Coast or East Coast, I gotta ask.
Look, I was both, but because I was in Jeddah, it was mostly West Coast.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
I'm from West London, so I was also West Coast.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's a thing,
Right.
like, so Dr. Dre, Tupac.
Yes.
So that was the era.
Yes.
But of course, we got into a lot of, East hip hop, New York hip hop, etc., etc. We got into the rivalry. Of course, we thought we were very involved in the rivalry. You know what I mean? We got scared a little bit at one point for the rappers' lives, all the way from Saudi Arabia. So we were very committed to the beef.
And the funny thing is, we were into it after they had already died.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which was
absolutely.
We were still living.
Yeah. People still hold the grudge and throw up like gang signs, it's over. I think
Yeah.
everybody's over that.
And then you got confused when Eminem came along because you're like, hold on a minute, he's from Detroit, which is in the middle, and so which one is he?
And the skin
and then he's
tone
got
for
50
rap
Cent on
is
his
weird.
side.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
like, which one?
Exactly. So initially, I started with hip hop, but then I started getting exposed to different genres, and Lebanon helped a lot with exposing me to like rock and heavy metal. And
In Lebanon?
In Lebanon,
I wouldn't
absolutely.
expect.
The band scene is huge in Lebanon. The live scene, especially from talent from Lebanon, is really big.
Okay.
So at least when I grew up, I was very exposed to that. And then I started, getting more and more curious about the region. And from 2013, I was very aware that there's like a pool of talent in the region that's really untapped. There was no way to commercialize your music in any way, shape, or form in the region. So everybody was hustling, trying to make music. It was very passion-led.
So then how would you make money?
From shows.
Okay, just performing.
Sponsorships. Red Bull and Casio would extend the hand sometimes for certain artists.
Okay.
Especially that we lived in Saudi, so it was even more
restricted then.
Yeah. It was even more of a hustle.
Yeah.
But that hustle created a sense of community, and that culture is what really excited me to kind of amplify that.
Okay.
So talent scouting was really important.
Okay.
After that, it's talent development.
Just one thing on this talent scouting. How were you doing talent scouting then? Because it wasn't like Instagram and social media was so big in the early 2000s or
Absolutely.
20. So how were you?
So we had a studio in Jeddah. We had a lot of talent that used to come. Jeddah was a hub of a lot of people traveling.
Yeah.
Most of the artists had another job. So we would be the studio to go to. So I would discover a lot of talent in the studio.
Okay.
But also, we still had Facebook. We had Facebook groups.
Yeah.
YouTube was just coming up. It wasn't monetizing, but YouTube was a thing as well. So we were able to.
MySpace was a thing or no?
MySpace was just ending.
Okay.
MySpace was a bit more difficult. Maybe it was a different time for me.
Yeah.
it was more
age.
for girls. Yeah. Exactly. But Facebook was really like, I remember we had very select groups.
Yeah.
One group called Hip Hop Baladi, for example, that came from Lebanon.
Yeah.
That gathered a lot of talents in it, and people used to just,
share
their music on
Okay.
there. So that's what started it.
Yeah.
And then it became about talent development, which is, being in the studio with the talent, knowing the path creatively from a creative director standpoint, which is something an A&R needs to do, making sure that they hone their sound from a quality perspective, from a writing perspective. They have the right team on board, whether it's songwriters, if they need any collaborators, producers, instrumentalists in the same room. but also that they have enough market insights to understand what the audience their potential audience would like to listen to.
Okay.
So that talent development angle was something I was really passionate about, because I found myself in studios giving feedback. It was very tough.
Because the talents don't want to take the feedback?
Because they don't want to take the feedback.
Were you producing as well?
I never produced.
Never produced, okay.
Never produced,
Yeah.
but
It was a sounding...
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It was a sound thing, and I used to learn a lot. I used to work as well, and he's a great friend of mine with a great producer called Anas Arabi. He taught me a lot as well. He used to be a producer, a rapper, a great writer. So I used to benchmark a lot of the feedback he used to give and whatever he used to do.
Okay.
And we just started creating music together.
Okay.
But beyond that, because I was in advertising, I also had the marketing angle locked down.
You were in advertising as well?
I was in advertising.
That was your other job?
Absolutely.
What did you do in advertising?
So I was in advertising in Jeddah. I worked with BBDO, with JWT. I handled Pepsi,
Creative
Samsung.
or
No, I
client
was
servicing?
client management
Okay.
and strategy at one point.
Okay.
So I understood the audience segmentation. I understood how to create a product out of a project.
Okay.
And really market it in the right way.
Yeah.
So that was an angle that not a lot of people were able to, kind of become an expert in.
Yeah.
And that was an edge. And I used it in my A&Ring, because a lot of the insights that I would give artists were based on audience or market insights.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool kind of like blend. But in order for me to be accepted in the studio to give feedback, I had to really finesse my ear, finesse the way I give feedback,
Yeah.
be accepted in the artist community, and be credible enough to do it. Because there was nothing...
So how'd you get that credibility?
Honestly, it was about relationships. It was about, being involved in projects. Once I have the confidence of an artist, being involved in a project and showcasing to other artists the impact that my involvement in this project did.
Okay. All right.
And it became, I got involved in this project, which led to this project, word of mouth, my relationships. I'm usually also, emotionally intelligent to a certain extent. I know how to deal with artists and producers, so I don't step on toes. I know when I'm back down. I know when to get the fuck out of the room as well.
Okay.
Sometimes, and I need to do that sometimes.
But you weren't doing that full time, you said at the beginning.
I wasn't. It was
Okay.
purely passion driven.
And you're doing that. When did you're doing it full time now?
I'm doing it full time.
When did you make that switch?
After Warner Music.
Okay, so tell me about Warner Music.
So I, after Vice, I was in Vice
okay.
for a while.
All right, when was that?
So that was from 2019 to 2023.
In Dubai?
In Dubai.
Oh, I might know some people that... Okay.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right. Okay, cool.
I'm sure.
We'll talk about it. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
So we established the agency in Dubai called Virtue, and I was leading on Virtue as head of account manager and then commercial director.
Okay.
A lot of the initiatives that we did were very culture driven.
Okay.
So there was a lot of international artists that we did video clips for DTCM, for example. We've won awards for highlighting the 7 Emirates and different pillars like music and artists. We were involved in a lot of artists that were just on the verge of coming up. I remember a huge artist called Marwan Pablo. We were one of the first in a documentary style, edit to showcase Marwan Pablo to the region.
Yeah.
As Vice.
Yeah.
So this is where I started getting tapped into the culture.
Okay.
When I decided to leave Vice, because it was becoming a bit overwhelming, the burnout was real, COVID, a child. So I decided, you know what, I want to do music full time. And I went into Warner Music as a marketing director.
So things were becoming difficult. So you said, let's go to music.
Yeah. And
because it's nice and easy.
At least there was still some passion there.
Okay, but music is a very, very competitive...
It is.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm just checking.
But again, I had the passion to overcome it. Because of my ADHD, when things become, there's no longer that spark.
Yeah.
And that's it. Even sometimes if it becomes too easy, it becomes hard. You know what I mean? For me, at least.
Okay.
So I wanted something that really sparked.
Okay.
Pushed me.
Okay.
And that was music.
And you got into Warner Music.
I got into Warner Music.
That can't be easy because it's a huge
It wasn't.
company.
I really hustled to get in there, and I went through multiple rounds. I was very happy to be there, but it wasn't the right fit.
Okay.
It wasn't the right fit. What I realized is that the corporate atmosphere of music in an emerging market was something that was frustrating to me, at least.
Isn't it more laid back in terms of music? Like, I know it's a corporate company, but because it's music, isn't it more chilled?
Absolutely not.
It's still...
It's still very intense.
Really?
It's very intense.
But it's music, though. Like, you think of, like, artists coming in and, like, chilling, and then, like, they come in at 6 p.m. and then they record until 3 in the morning, and it's very, relaxed.
Absolutely not.
It's not?
Absolutely not. There's certain egos, there's certain expectations.
Okay.
The commercial, return is very low, so you have to do more to make less.
Okay.
You have to release more music to make, to make sense of, a certain pipeline.
Okay.
So
it's
it is
quantity
actually
over
very
quality.
high pressure.
Quantity over quality.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to the major labels at the time.
Okay.
Which is Warner had just acquired a big distributor called Qanawat.
Okay.
And I had just joined.
Okay.
So the structure was still being put into place.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was also a bit antsy, and I knew the potential, wanted to do a lot more than the red tape would allow me.
Yeah.
So after, I believe, 6 months, we reached an impasse, and we're like, you know what? I had gotten enough experience from big consultancies like, Creating Middle Beast, to even within 6 months of Warner, my exposure was just huge.
You worked on Middle Beast as well?
I worked on establishing Middle Beast through Vice, yes. I was
That's
the
huge.
lead project director
Yeah.
on it as well.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. Yeah. That's the wealth of my information. That's how I got Warner.
Okay.
And that's how I was so confident into getting
could do
into it, because the information I had gotten from international consultants was unbelievable. I was very lucky to have witnessed that and been a part of that.
Okay.
So, and then I decided, you know what, I need to at least try. If not now, then when? I was almost going to turn 40. And I'm like, you know what, let's jump and try to be an entrepreneur and open my own business. And this is where I started the Gold Pound.
Okay.
The Gold Pound, or Lira Dahab in Arabic. It sounds better in Arabic for me for some reason. But the Gold Pound, anecdotally though, I wanted to take it back to the Dog Pound, Snoop Dogg's label.
Yeah.
Just because it was like, a nice era of hip-hop at the time. But also the Gold Pound for me was an important kind of catalyst for emerging artists and the region specifically. And that's one of the reasons why. And I still have a whole, concept behind the Gold Pound.
Okay.
Which I'd like to tell you.
Yes, please.
So basically, in the region, we've been controlled by the West through our currency. They devaluate our currency, they inflate our currency, and we're tied to the dollar, etc., etc. And this is where our money becomes a pawn in the West's hand.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you can't really fuck with gold.
Yes.
And back in the day,
or Bitcoin maybe.
Or maybe.
But
Definitely not Bitcoin, but I'm not technologically savvy enough to tie it into Bitcoin. I never got into that, unfortunately for me, though.
It's never too late. They tell me. They tell me.
Yeah. But I for some reason, I can't get myself to learn about it, because anybody that's really into Bitcoin, I can't get along with for some reason. No, I have friends that are into it, but whenever they speak about it for that period of time, I just can't stand the conversation.
Like, blockchain, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And
Infinity,
then automatic block on the conversation. For some.
My friend is into it, and he just gave me like 5 books to read.
Yeah.
And I read the first one. He's like, I'm going to test you on it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And he's on holiday now, and I'm like, shit.
You worry about things like you worry about the follow-up questions, and all of a sudden you feel like you're sitting on a podcast, just another Bitcoin podcast where somebody's shouting at you.
Why don't you know? Why haven't you bought? Why didn't you mine?
Absolutely.
But gold is a big part of it. That's why I bring up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but even historically, kingdoms that used to have gold reserves were less prone to foreign interference.
Yeah.
So for me,
the Roman Empire.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So the Gold Pound was a testament to the talent that we had. And especially that, whether it's the West, big labels, or big initiatives, kind of always undermined our talent in the region.
Yeah.
We've been emerging for God knows how much, and we still haven't made it, and it's crazy. We're still emerging. You know what I mean?
Though we were around before the West was.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So there's a double standard there that I really wanted to highlight, and and especially from a talent perspective.
Okay.
Because I saw how much our talent is potentially worth.
Okay.
And that's been something that I've been thriving throughout.
Okay.
What I started explaining as an A&R is a fraction of what the Gold Pound does.
Okay.
It includes, like I said, talent scouting, talent development, the production process, so project management, making sure, the studio is set up, it's set up right, and everybody is like helping on bringing out the best output.
Yeah.
Then liaising with labels on the type of music the talent needs to do, if they're with a label or with them independently.
Okay.
Making sure that there's a strategy to their releases.
Okay. All right.
When they should release which songs.
Yeah. Because I never understood, like, what would be the first song that you release? Is it your best song? And then who decides if it's the best song?
Look, it depends. It all depends on the artist.
Yeah.
It depends on the music, and it depends on the audience.
Yeah.
So if it's for example, let's an example of an artist that I worked with. He had it was his first song ever. He had a couple of songs. I wanted to pick the song that would most accurately represent him as an artist, to introduce him to the audience. That was an angle, a strategy. And that was an angle that we saw in one of his songs. It was like, you know what? This is representative more of the type of music that I'm going to be doing. The other two songs are different. I want to establish myself with this song and then go out with something a little bit different, and come back with something that's similar to the first song.
Yeah.
This is the kind of rationale that we usually undertake, but also it depends. I've worked with big artists, small artists, and really it's custom to each.
Because, like, what's the rule of thumb of how many songs should be on an album? Like, you like All Eyes on Me, right?
Yeah.
Why have two? Like, like, just business wise, like, you have an amazing album, 2 CDs. I mean, not that people know what CDs are anymore, but anyway, like, you have 2 CDs full of killer songs, side A, side B, right? Why have a side A, side B? Just send one and then another one.
So I think typically. And look, don't quote me on this.
Yeah.
Maybe we can chat GPT it later. But typically, what makes sense is that most of the albums were done on vinyl and then on tape.
Yeah.
And the reason there's a certain bandwidth to a vinyl.
Yeah.
In terms of how many tracks you can put on there.
Yeah, same as tape as well.
Same as tape as well. You had to flip it over.
Yeah.
And that went to CDs as well, even though you could burn 100 songs on a CD.
Yeah.
But that format
stayed
the same.
Yeah.
But then now there is a threshold of what's an album. Anything above, let's say, 7-8 songs is an album, and then you have an EP, which is a short 4 or 5 songs. In one packaging is an EP.
Okay.
And then you have an LP.
Okay.
Don't ask me what they stand for, because I won't tell you now. but that's something.
Executive producer and line producer.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
But it's not something I can tell you.
We'll ask ChatGPT.
Yeah. That's something we should do a ChatGPT session.
Okay, so EP is the longer one, and then LP is the longer one.
EP is the shorter one, and LP is the longer one.
Okay.
So again, there's certain strategies of release where. Leading up to the album, what you actually do. There's something called a waterfall release, for example, which is you release single after single. Okay. This is something that you could tell your client. And honestly, the more I get into it with artists, and the more I set strategies and define them with them, the more I realize that I don't think anybody can, with an authority, say what's the best way to release an album.
Okay.
There are best practices. Like what the Clips are doing now is crazy. The Clips. They're a hip-hop band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. But the audience doesn't know. So tell the audience
all right.
what the Clips are, who the Clips are,
so the Clips
what they're doing.
The Clips are a duo, okay, with a rapper called Pusha T. Okay, and his brother, Malice.
Okay. Because when
And
you say Pusha T, I'm like, you mean the wrestler from back in the day?
no,
Booker T.
no, not Booker T. Let's spark WWF, not E. Yes.
Yes.
So their album rollout is actually very cool now,
Okay.
because the way they did alternate covers, they
Okay.
did a video, and it's highly anticipated. They just dropped their whole song list with the features. They have Pharrell, they have Kendrick Lamar, etc., etc.
Okay.
The way they've done it is really interesting,
Okay.
and it could be a best practice, a benchmark, but it also doesn't necessarily work on all artists.
Yeah.
So there's no cookie cutter approach to it.
Yeah.
This is why it's very important to get really personal with the artist, to understand what they want out of the music. And the more shallow they are, the harder it is to promote their music, in my opinion, especially nowadays. Because this generation feels bullshit, like they smell it miles away.
Okay.
So you have to be passionate, authentic, and you have to have some sort of angle that's personable.
Okay.
Right?
For people to relate to you. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we're in a generation where, we're no longer aesthetically driven. They're no longer. I'm no longer part of that generation. So this is where A&R stands mostly. So we do that as the Gold Pound.
Where you have offices here?
So right now I'm operating on my own with freelancers as the Gold Pound.
Which seems to be the norm. That's the thing now. That's the way.
Sorry?
Seems to be the structure now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, first of all, in music, covering overheads is something that is a bit difficult. But also, there's a big part to play in education. The talent is there, but they require a lot of training. They require a lot of time, and you need to give them. If I want to stay true to my mission, I need to pay them well.
Yeah.
I can't just get talent and skim on their payments and things like that, which I do on a project by project basis.
Yeah.
Whenever I get a project, I know how to delegate. I know how I have the team to get on board that's ready to jump on, ride or dies. They're there. But also, a lot of what I'm doing right now is trying to enhance the ecosystem from a music perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm consulting with Qatar.
Okay.
And Qatar Studios.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they're very ambitious. I love the way Qatar does things. It's unlike Saudi, where it's like, what, here's a lot of money, here's a tight deadline, let's just print and make it happen.
Yeah.
And they make it happen.
Yeah.
Respect,
Yeah.
right?
Different styles.
Definitely. People
go
die
big.
along the way, but they get there.
Yeah. But they do huge events.
Exactly.
Insane
Events and strategies, and it's amazing, right?
It's like they make them, like they come up with ideas like, we want to do it. So I'm like, it's not possible. And they're like, really? Okay, she's going to show you. And they do.
Yeah. And they do, right? Qatar does it differently. And I appreciate the pace. I appreciate the strategy behind it. A big thing in Qatar is sports. They've always wanted to, after the World Cup.
Yeah.
And leading into the World Cup and after the World Cup, they've become more and more involved in sports as well.
But how does your music tie in with sports?
This was a challenge for me.
Yeah.
And this is where we're incorporating more live music into it, more engagement with music, and more, because Qatar did like the songs for FIFA, for example.
Yeah.
A&Ring the songs for the sports initiatives that are coming.
Okay.
The anthems and the performances.
Okay.
So that's a way to incorporate music. And because they activate sports, the aim is to incorporate music as much as possible in these engaging activations to the people. Because the landscape in Qatar changed.
Yeah.
Especially after the wars that came through. A lot of people came through. They knocked on the door and entered, you know what I mean? No, but especially after the wars, Qatar hosted a lot of people. So now the landscape changed. There's a lot more Sudanese, Palestinians,
more diverse,
diverse and younger. So this is where I see a lot of the potential of it. And just like Saudi, I'm trying to be at the ground floor of a market that I feel is going to be really interesting with great people.
Cool.
Shout out to Qatar Studios.
Plug them. No
Yeah.
So that's where you see the future of your work.
Yeah.
In Qatar.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Look, it has to be regional,
Yeah.
because talent at the end of the day is everywhere. You know, Egypt is a huge hub for talent.
Yeah, for everything,
For everything.
from cinema to everything.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Being in the region is important. Having partners across the region. I don't manage talent as the Gold Pound,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily have talent affiliations directly, because I like to work with preferred artists and preferred partners from all over the region.
Okay, so you've worked with a lot of artists.
Yes.
And you've obviously worked in the region, done some cool projects with Middle East and what have you. What would be your best experience professionally so far?
My best experience professionally so far? Wow. Look, to be honest, it wasn't in music, but it was in film, actually.
Okay.
My first project in Vice was for DTCM, Dubai Tourism at the time.
Yeah.
And we worked with Gwyneth Paltrow, Zoe Saldana, and Kate Hudson.
Yes.
And we did a small...
mini-series. Almost kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, I wasn't particularly proud of the output, but I had the biggest crush on Zoe Saldana. So at the time, just working alongside like these women and on this big project, and really seeing the impact that we could do from Dubai on a scale that is essentially Hollywood. To me, that was really cool and mind-blowing. And at the same time, we were shooting a music video with a superstar called Rita Ora.
Yeah.
As well, in Dubai.
Yeah. She's from West London.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But originally Albanian, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So, but that to me was, okay, so the exposure is great.
Did you have a crush on Rita Ora as well?
She was a lot taller than I thought. So I did before I met her. That when she towered over me,
she's taller than you.
Oh, she was really tall. She was.
Really?
I mean, maybe it was the heels, but even with heels, it was you know. But all of them were unbelievably professional, etc. But to me, it was like, okay, I really saw the potential of what I could do in Dubai.
Yeah.
Because there was always this like fantasy of going and working in LA, Miami, Hollywood. A lot of people were stuck in this looking out. But I think these projects made me realize that, wait, we can actually get them here.
And they want to be here.
And they want to be here. And this is where like my strategy became about importing talent. Not exporting talent anymore to the US, etc., etc. And importing audiences. And one of the things that I really try to do is appeal to the diaspora, to try to have them look in as much as possible. It's happening. There are a lot of people now that are, expats that are living in the States, Canada, etc., that have their finger on the pulse. There's some great journalists, some great music journalists that are shedding light on the region. But to me, this was really important because I didn't want to live in the shadow of the West anymore. I've worked enough in corporate to understand that we'll always be, kind of like a proxy.
Yeah.
And that's
you figure that out when you work in advertising agencies. Always.
Absolutely.
Global has done this.
Absolutely.
Just fix it for the region. You're like, but that doesn't work for this region.
No.
But
there's no cultural context, no cultural nuance.
But they want to save money on it, so they're like, no, but just and they don't want to listen to the voice because someone in head office is like, but no, it's fine.
And even though like my experience in Vice showed me the potential of incorporating our culture into ideation and winning awards, etc., etc., I still felt like the global team were tone deaf. You know what I mean? Especially in times of struggle, conflict, in times of empathy. Corporate America is ruthless, and this is what I wanted to kind of like
break away from,
and because we weren't ready yet to monetize on the region and the talent yet, take the long way and help educate, establish, support, try to support as much as I can. I'm very lucky to be able to do it full time. Very lucky to be able to do it. Because it's not easy.
Because that's what I'm saying. Monetizing it, it must be very difficult now. Because I'm not 100% knowledgeable about it. But the music industry changed drastically, right? Like you were saying before, it was tapes and vinyl.
Yeah.
Then we had the CDs, and it became digital.
Digital.
Then everything was people were downloading. So you had Napster and everything, and I can't remember what torrents and shit.
LimeWire.
Yeah, LimeWire, exactly.
Yeah,
Everyone was
exactly.
downloading, and then you had, so now everyone's sharing. So you got Spotify and Apple. Yeah. So how are you monetizing that? Because the big guys like Kendrick and Snoop or whatever, obviously everyone's downloading their stuff. But then how do you get your?
So streaming doesn't make any money. Let's be honest. It doesn't make any money. It makes fractions of a cent for artists on their masters, and you literally have to be making millions and millions and millions of streams to be able to do anything with the money you get, especially in the region.
Okay.
So you have to understand that on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever other platform, a cost per stream in Europe and the US is worth a lot more than here or Egypt or Saudi, for example, because it's tied into the subscription rate.
Okay.
So here in the region, actually, people get a lot less per stream. There's Egyptian artists that have millions and millions and millions of streams that make less than an artist in the US that makes thousands of streams.
Wow, okay.
Okay? So streams are not... What you want to make money from are shows, live performances, brand deals, which is something, given my advertising background, I've been able to do. I've done an initiative for Vox Cinemas and Godzilla and Kong, where I incorporated music into it.
Okay.
The ideation was really important.
Okay. Who comes up with the ideation? You? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, it was Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
I told the marketing director, why don't we get two big artists? It was in Saudi with a big Saudi audience. We got two big Sudanese artists, Da Vinci and Soldier. Shout out to both of them, really dope artists. And we partnered with a mega producer in Egypt called Ismail Nusrat and Karim Osman, a great producer as well.
Karim Osman I've heard of.
Karim, he used to be in production as well.
Yeah,
with good people. Great guy.
Yeah.
Ismail Nusrat's also a legend. So we created a track for the client that the client paid for.
Yeah.
Okay, and that they wanted to use for their marketing. And then we took Da Vinci and Soldier to the premiere in Jeddah. And to me, that was a crazy project because we were performing in a cinema in Jeddah.
And they performed it live there?
They performed it live.
Okay.
And back when I was in Jeddah, whenever my people used to perform, if the cops came, we used to jump out of bathroom windows. You know what I mean? We used to have to run away from the cops.
Changed so much. And there's so much more open. And
Absolutely.
Everything has just boomed.
Absolutely.
The talent is just, and the talent that's emerging there is phenomenal.
Absolutely. Saudi is great.
Tell me, what's the best piece of advice you had along your journey?
Look, honestly, it's my grandfather that told me. It's in Arabic. I'm going to say it in Arabic. كل ساعة إلى ملائكة, which means every hour has its purpose, its angel, its protector. And honestly, this helped me a lot in just not being anxious about the future anymore. I'm a person that was very anxious, that was needed to control the outcome of whatever I was getting into. And that created a lot of friction in my life, a lot of stress in my life. When I realized that living moment to moment is really important, that's when I started appreciating the time with my kids, the time with my wife, and the time with myself.
What did your wife think about you?
She was very supportive.
Okay.
She was very supportive.
Okay.
She was supportive because...
So she was like, we have 2 kids now.
Yeah.
Fresh newborn, right? Before you had the pounds.
Yeah, but they were... My youngest was like 2 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, we need steady income. You're going to leave this corporate job with insurance and benefits and things like that. And you're going to stop. And she was like, cool.
So, yes. Because, first of all, we were very lucky. She's very diligent. We've been saving ever since we got to Dubai. she saw how hard I was working.
How many
And
years you been married? Sorry.
We've been married 10 years in September.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't even planned.
No, absolutely not. No, I know that. I even tattooed our wedding anniversary so I don't forget. In Roman numerals just to make it look cool, but I remember from
But
seeing
you
it.
read Roman numerals.
Sorry?
You can read Roman numerals.
I can, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
read
And you
Roman
tattooed your
numerals.
kids' names on your arms in case
Yeah,
you forget also.
that's in case, like just in
Okay.
case I don't get to a stage of dementia because,
Ah.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
So we've been married for 10 years,
Yeah.
and she really wanted me to pursue this,
That's it.
just to show myself that I could.
Mhm.
She believed in me, and I really, really love her and appreciate her for it. And she saw that I was really trying to fit into an environment that I didn't fit into.
Mhm.
So she was like, you know what? If he fails at this, I'm just going to have to be the man of the house. But yeah, not yet. Not yet.
Is she in the music industry as well?
She's not. She's actually working with Majid Al Futtaim in the cinema industry.
Oh, okay.
Still in entertainment.
So, okay.
She's a marketing director,
Okay.
handling Universal and Warner Studios from a distribution standpoint, marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So premieres, and whenever our common friend Nadeem tells you he's going to a premiere, it's probably my wife that hooked him up.
Yeah, I'm very impressed because the same thing with I started in comedy and my passion, and I recently quit my job as well to follow my passion of directing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been able to do it if my wife hadn't supported me.
Of course.
You know, because
Absolutely.
that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
For me. I mean,
Absolutely.
like with the comedy, I think after 9, 10, well, we've been married 9 years in November, and we've been together 11 years. But I think it was about 7 years of me just talking about wanting to do comedy.
Yeah.
She was like, listen, khalas.
Just do it.
And she's English. She was just like, listen, either you do it or just stop talking about
Exactly.
it. But don't use us as an excuse that you didn't, like your son and your wife
Absolutely.
didn't let you follow your dream. Go and do it, and then just shut up.
And just
Yeah. And get it done, and then that's it. And
that's
then
extremely lucky.
Huh?
We're very lucky to have that kind of
100%.
support.
Punching above our weights.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Definitely. You literally, actually.
100%.
Yeah,
Very, very blessed. in that sense.
yeah.
What do you want people to know about you and what you're doing for the future, if anything?
Look, there's always, at the end of the day, music is something that's still being established. I try to lead with empathy as much as I can, and I try to lead with compassion for the culture, and to create a community out of the music. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out like that.
Okay.
It doesn't always work out that way. Music is a very emotional product, and it could get very personal. You know, I've had disagreements, I've had fights, I've had, brothers that over music or over the path I've taken in music, we've kind of grown estranged.
Okay.
But again, these personal connections I've built, I value a lot more than the petty bullshit.
Yeah.
And I really want everybody to know that, my heart is literally in this.
Okay.
However hustle needs to happen, and not that I have a reputation or anything, but sometimes you have to hustle in the music industry. Sometimes you have to pick an artist over another one. Sometimes you're just too busy to promote a song or to take on a project, etc., because it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to know that, it's never intentional, and that I want to help more than people have helped me.
Yeah.
And that it's not a give and take in this situation. That's it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We joked about Bitcoin, but tech is a big thing now, especially with music. How do you think AI is affecting or either improving, whatever?
Look, to me, AI is a tool, right? AI is a tool, and I know a lot of producers that use AI to complement, their sound.
Because you can cheat, right? You can ask.
You can, of course. The right way to do it, and I think I saw sorry?
The right way to cheat?
No, the right way to incorporate AI,
Okay.
right, is I think Ayham Homsi, AY, was on your podcast,
Yeah.
and you asked him a question that was similar to that.
Okay.
And the way Ayham does it is something that is constructive.
Okay.
You know, generate suggestions,
Yeah.
try to get out of a creative block, try to incorporate it in a way to enhance, you know, the output.
Yeah.
That's where it becomes a tool.
Yeah.
Now,
But people use it to make music itself, and then they lay a
they
video
do,
on it
and
or a
it's,
song.
it's
lyrics
definitely
on it.
controversial.
Yeah.
But again, nobody's gotten rich out of the making these.
But there's ways to figure it out to see who wrote it. Like, is there a way I could go to AI, I don't know which is application, whatever, I don't know what to say, and make a song, hip hop song about West Coast, whatever, growing up in London. But is there any way for you to figure out that I used AI?
No, there isn't. That's the problem with AI right now, is that there's no regulation, and it benchmarks on already existing. It learns from already existing, whether compositions, lyrics, etc., etc.
Okay.
So, again, from a regulation standpoint, it's not ideal at all. But again, it's inevitable. I hope that they find a way to regulate it.
Yeah.
I hope that there's a way where people could get paid for licensing their original for AI for learning. I don't think it's going to be possible. But again, I'm one that believes in, you know, when you put a creative out there, it's there in the universe to be used and to be shared. And, you know, copying someone is the biggest type of flattery as well, you know, like to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I don't condone people ripping off. We were talking about comedy, for example. But again, if they're inspired by it and there's still a human touch to it, then great.
Yeah.
As long as AI is a tool and not the main catalyst, I think it's a good product.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, like, the thing is, there's only so many things you can talk about, sing about, joke about, whatever. There are going to be follow-ups. You know? Like, with our friend, we went to see a comedian, a famous comedian last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say his name. Can I say he was a big guy should I say his name? No. It's about the jokes that he did that were similar to mine. No. Okay, so it was a big comedian, and he had these jokes, and he went through having a child, as I went through having a child.
Yeah.
And when you have a child, you know, before we have a child, that we have to do tests, whatever, and we had to go give a sample, and I went to the doctors and I gave a sample, and it was a funny scene about it, and my wife was in the waiting room and she was laughing because there was nurses outside the room while I was having to create this sample.
Okay.
The comedian did the same joke about that. Okay, his was a bit different.
Yeah.
A bit funnier. And then he talked about circumcision.
Yeah.
And then, like, Nadeem was next to me and he's like, bro,
Yeah.
he's using your jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think this guy is using my jokes.
Absolutely.
But he's a man who's had a boy, and then, you know, it's just part and parcel.
Circumstantial.
But then the twist was that the third thing was that he named his child the same as my child.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, and we have it's like my son's called Shiloh.
Okay.
It's not a very common. It's
Not
not like,
at
hey,
all.
Steve. You
Not
know
at
what I
all,
mean?
not at all.
And it was like bing bang, and I was like, oh shit. It was like, but his was after my son was born before his child was. So of course he copied
he's
me.
the OG.
Of
Shiloh.
course he
That's
copied me.
Yeah, definitely.
The name anyway.
Definitely. I want to find out who that is off the air, though, because I want to
Because
know.
Nadeem was there. He was like, bro, he stole your
Yeah,
joke.
yeah.
I'm like, this guy is touring the world, selling out arenas. And I don't think he was like scrolling Instagram and finding my page and be like, oh, circumcision joke.
There you go.
This guy.
That's it.
We have a tradition where we ask a wild question.
Yeah.
So in these tins, there are hidden questions. You must choose a tin, and I will read it out to you.
Okay.
And then...
Did you stack them up this way so I pick the one that's not going to crumble them?
No, the producer stacks them up this way so that you choose the bottom one, so it makes it very difficult for me to try and, like, you know...
No, because I want to choose...
Choose
the
whatever
one,
you want. Of course, the most difficult one.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's like Jenga, but like
Yeah.
with tin cans. The question is, drum roll here.
Okay.
Just because I know some of your friends, so this could be interesting.
Okay.
What's the strangest thing you have ever heard or learnt in your lifetime?
Honestly, there's so much, but I can't put a pin on it. But I'm gonna say, for the sake of our conversation, some of Nadeem's jokes, that especially the sandal joke.
What's the sandal joke?
Where he says that his ancestors, he has Greek ancestors, what are some philosophers?
Socrates,
etc., etc. Okay, so he's like, I'm not surprised I have these ancestors because I look great in sandals, right? And I've seen him in sandals. I don't think he looks that great. He does not look that great.
He does not.
But it's every joke that he hits me with that is just strange in a very funny way. He has a way of structuring his jokes that I'm a big fan of, but they're just odd.
The two strangest ones that are talking about him, the joke, is the piñata joke.
Oh yeah,
is just wrong. And the one,
and there's some kidnapping jokes as
well.
The
kidnapping,
As a father,
and like,
and he's a father too.
And I was asking his wife, I was like, "What about these jokes?" And she's like, She has the look, and she's like, "I don't listen to his
she's
jokes
defeated.
anymore."
Like he's disconnected.
The hearing aid is off. Like she doesn't.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely,
much appreciated, my friend.
Thank you.